So we have decided, or we have learned, that this game is a great way to explain the average day at our library. I always get a big kick out of coming to Milford when we walk in the door and the big sign that says the Connections Cafe greets us. And of course, that's the name of our library. It's Connections. So we feel such a nice, strong bond with all of you simply because of that, let alone all the relationships that we've built over the years and the time. So we thought we'd take this time to kind of, you know about our work. You know we live in Germany. And when people try to ask us what we do, well, is it a church? No. Is it a mission where you go and feed the hungry? No. Is it, they go through the list of the different things. Do you build houses? Well, if anybody knows anything about Europe, they don't need help building houses. So there are so many ways that we know mission work happens, right? You guys are so involved in those things. You go to different places and do mission work, all kinds of different things that you do. And we know that ministry covers a wide spectrum of things that take place. But Connections is unique in that we're a library and a coffee shop, but we're a ministry center. And so, I know. But they already know what we do, honey. So we usually don't share so much with people who don't know us because this game helps to introduce that. So Terry's going to go over there to the other microphone. So I know. You want to bring that closer to you? There you go. So I'm going to have her explain the game. But let me give you a quick update real quick. Just so you know, God's been really good to us. I think last year we were talking about the war in Ukraine and how that was affecting us. And your generosity has been a huge blessing to us during that very difficult time. It's still raging, and it's still causing a lot of problems and heartache for us and for our Ukrainian friends and even our Russian friends. And the Europeans are still very, 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 very anxious about what's going on in the Ukraine. Now there's the Israeli situation, which means there are demonstrations in Berlin every day. And they're far more violent than they are here. So we need to pray for Europe as it is kind of in turmoil right now over all this conflict. But Connections is doing really well. In fact, when we finish this trip, we will have been gone 89 days from Germany. We left on October 26th. And we thought we were going to have to close down. Because we had so many speaking engagements, we had to be here. Plus, I wanted to see my family and our daughter in Florida. And yet, when we told the people we were going to shut down, they go, no, don't shut down. We don't want to get shut down. So they volunteered to step up. So Connections has been open while we've been gone, which is a big blessing. And that tells us that we've had a really good year and that the people are invested in it. So I'm going to turn it over to Terry real quick, and we're running out of time.
Okay, hi. We're going to play a game, and the game is a word association game. And the reason why we play this is twofold. One, you're going to find out really kind of what we do on a daily basis. And two, it will give you some ideas of how you can apply this to your own life here and work around the people, because we're all in a mission field, right? So you can actually use this technique, okay? I'm going to say a word. And I want you to capture the very first word that comes to your mind. I don't want you to change it. I don't want you to change it if somebody else says one that you think is better. I just want you to capture the first word. It doesn't matter what it is. Because it really doesn't matter. The reason why we're doing this is every day on a daily basis, we get people coming in the library. We have no idea what class in society they are, what country they're from, how old they are. We just don't know who's going to come through the door. And we've got to be quick on our feet. We have to pray every morning on the way in, on the 25-minute bus ride. We pray and we say, God, please help us to know how to deal with the people that come through our door. Because when they do, we have to quickly assess where might they be spiritually and how can we get them to the next level. because it's a seed planting ministry. So sometimes it's very small, and sometimes you get a very deep discussion. So I'm going to do this so we can show you how we work. All right, the first word. Write it down.
Okay, first word comes to your minds.
Germany.
Berlin. That was an easy one. Europe. Wall. VW. I'll use the microphone. Does anybody know what VW stands for? Volkswagen, right? Do you know what Volkswagen means in German? The people's car, right? Volkswagen, that's how they say it. Okay, over here.
What's it?
Launchstuhl. Launchstuhl.
What's that?
Launchstuhl is the home of the largest American military hospital. Land and then Stuhl. S-T. Ancestors.
No, that's not right.
Stuhl, not Schul. That's land school, not Landstuhl.
Yeah.
And Stuhl is the German word for chair. Just so you know that.
I don't know them.
That's okay. One more. Rhineland. Annie, you got a word for Germany?
First thing that comes to your mind.
It was already mentioned.
Oh, okay.
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 Hogan's Heroes.
Only Clark would say that.
Hogan's Heroes.
Hogan's Heroes. All right, that's good. All right, next word. Oh, what was I going to say? Oh, real quick, while she's writing the next word. Did you know that in America, German is the number one ancestry of every American, by far? There are more people of German ancestry in America than any other culture. Any culture.
Okay, next word is books.
All right, let me have a books. Bible. Good Christian answer. What else? Library. Oh. You. Us. What? Comics? I heard one.
Comics? What?
Comics. School. That's funny. Nap time. Reading.
One more.
One more.
Quiet.
I'm sorry?
Quiet.
Quiet. That's an oxymoron.
Okay.
Next word.
Coffee.
Cup. What? More. That's kind of funny.
Right.
Cup. She said cup. What was that?
Coffee break.
Break.
Smell.
Smell. See, I love the smell of coffee. I hate the flavor. Brew.
Group.
Oh, group.
That's what I thought she said.
Okay. Conversation. I heard one over here. We already had cup. Warmth. It's the only reason I ever drank coffee. When I was in the Army, it's to keep warm. That was the only reason I hate coffee otherwise. Anything else? Relax. Daryl, you're really quiet over there, buddy. Conversation. Got that one. See? Is it, how are we going? Okay, that's good. Last word.
Last word is more. More.
Whatever comes to your mind. Doesn't matter. What's that? Abundance. Time, people, love. Okay, wait. It's funny how this has the most. I also heard coffee. Sleep.
Sleep.
Another one?
Chicken?
I got it. Eat more chicken. Now, wait a minute. Aren't you guys all cattle people? That doesn't really make sense.
We can have one more.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Now, before she gets into this part, you notice that some of these words interconnect, right? And it's funny to hear. We've done this game. Wow. In Washington, California, Oklahoma, Texas, Florida, Virginia, and you can tell Canada. That's where we first did it. It was in British Columbia. You can tell how people in that neighborhood what they focus on, because some of the answers are, you wouldn't believe some of the answers we've had. Some of them are absolutely mind-bogglingly weird, makes no sense, and other ones are really funny. I have to tell this one, then I'll let Terry do the application.
Tell that yet.
Oh, I can't tell that one? Okay, I'll wait till we get there. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we have all the words that you said. We had no idea where you were coming from. We didn't know what you're going to say. Same thing our day looks like. We don't know what's coming through the door, what they're going to say. Germany is our field, our mission field. So we have to know our German mission field before we are able to react to the people. So interesting, we are in Berlin. We are the only Christian library in the whole city of Berlin, which is over 4.5 million people. Europe, of course, Germany is in Europe, and we are the hub of Europe. The hub of Europe, it's a very transit place. People come and go all the time. So whatever we can get into the people in our little library will go everywhere. So this is very important to our mission. The wall came down, but it went up in 61, came down in 89, and it is still in the minds of a lot of people on the east side. The people are still hesitant about doing their own thing because they were used to being told what to do. They still have that stigma there. So you can go into the east side now, and the buildings are now painted instead of gray. But the people are still kind of hard to move. It's hard to talk with them.
Yeah, it's there's still there's probably about a mile combined of the wall still that's standing. Most of it's been torn down. Now it's illegal to do anything to the wall that's left, so it stands as a memorial. But it's a really dark. After Hitler, it's the second most frustrating or depressing thing for the German people to deal with is how the wall affected them. And you can walk actually along the wall. They have bricks, and it tells you where the wall stood, and you can follow that whole thing all the way around the whole city.
But the whole city celebrates the reunification. So every year, what is it?
Every October 3rd.
October 3rd, they come together and celebrate. Volkswagen, that is one of the main cars they produce. There aren't that many cars because they're really trying to get everybody out of cars and onto bikes. That's
a whole other political discussion we won't have.
It's crazy. Okay, I'm going to let you take Landstuhl.
So Landstuhl is 97th General Hospital, biggest military hospital in Europe, and it's also one of the major old U.S. bases. It's down in the southwest part of Germany. We are in the northeast. So if you imagine the hand, Berlin's here, Landstuhl's over here.
Okay, Rhineland.
Rhineland is a state, Rhineland-Pfalz. Germany is made up of 13 states, just like we have here in America, and they're run the same way. And Bavaria is one. Berlin, Bremen, and Bremen is one more. Munich? Oh, I can't believe I forgot the third. Anyway, there are three of our cities are city-states. So they are their own state.
Brandenburg?
No, Brandenburg is a state.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
I don't know.
Anyway, so Rhineland is Rhine. Everyone knows the Rhine River. Okay, the Rhine River goes down the west part of the country of Germany, and the Rhineland-Pfalz is what that state goes along the Rhine River.
Anyway, the people are very, very proud of the state that they come from. And a lot of times they come up to Germany. Right now, they're all coming up to Germany for protesting.
Berlin,
But
Berlin,
They
you mean.
come all over Germany up to Berlin. Hogan's Hero, I love that one because, that was a silly sitcom about the war. Well, the war is so much a part of their everyday psyche still today. It's not funny, though, like Hogan's Heroes. It's not funny at all. They wish to bury it. They don't want to go there. They don't want to talk about it. And right now, they're taking a strong, strong stand for Israel because of what happened in World War II. So that's a good thing, but it's causing all kinds of pressure. So the scars are visible. You can see bullet holes. You can see things that have not been
Yeah, they haven't
completely
touched certain
restored.
things as a reminder so you can see the war really up close and personal.
And the older people still remember. I have one lady that comes in who remembers the what they call the candy bomber, the guy that came over, the Berlin airlift that came and dropped candy to the children, because she was one of those recipients. And she remembers the bombing. And
She remembers the real bombing,
Yeah.
and then she remembers the candy bomber. Most old Germans adore Americans because of what America saved the German people. And
I
so
think
they
she-
adore us for that.
I think she was about 7 when that happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
One other thing
Go
about
ahead.
what was
Get it.
it?
Got a lot.
Yeah, we do. Okay. I'll get back to it.
So that is our field. That's what we're dealing with every day, the people that come in, and not just Germans. There are people from all over the place. Books. Okay, books is our tool. We have books all over the library in German and English, and Bibles from all kinds of different languages that we have there for people to use as tools and guides. And they're all Christian-based books. Even our fiction is a Christian fiction, so that they don't even know they're getting some ideas about God, but they are. And so these tools are very important. And one of our main tools, of course, is the Bible. And we do get to use that with people when they have questions. That's wonderful. The library, it's a library of books.
We have about 7,800 books right now in our library.
You mentioned you. Yep, we are there. And he usually is doing the book stuff, all the signing people up for book usage and memberships, and I'm the barista. Whoever thought I would do that, I don't know, but I'm doing it.
And we're hoping that Annie can
We're
come.
hoping that Annie will come
and be our barista, just like her big sister was.
I know. Anyway, comics, we don't have comics there, but we have people coming in all the time asking if we do. Because they just love reading. They love reading more than going on a Kindle or something. School, we have school children that come by all the time. We used to have a whole bunch of school children that were little, and I called them my cookie kids. I was known as the cookie frau, because they would come in, and if they practiced their English that they start learning in 3rd grade, I would give them a cookie. So they'd have to say, "Can I have a cookie, please?" And I would give them a cookie. The next time they came by, I'd have to add something. How many children are in your family? And they'd have to tell me before they got their cookie. One of our cookie girls is now 17. She's Muslim. She remembers that, and she comes in now as a teenager just to talk.
Plus, she volunteers at the library. Now, how's that? A Muslim volunteer.
Well, she volunteers alongside Christians because
Right.
we don't want it to turn into a Muslim library. So she volunteers along with the Christians there, and she's very loving. She loves America, and she wants to come here. But she is very interested in learning about the ways of people, and so this leads to a lot of discussion between her and myself. Nap time, yep. People fall asleep on our couches. They sit there, they come in just waiting. He does it all the time. And they come in and they say, "Oh, das ist sehr gemütlich." That means this is very comfortable. And we like this because we feel at peace. And I'm like, wow, I'm so glad you feel that way. That's what we want. We want the peace of Christ to be in our library, and that people come in and they feel that. Not only the love from us, but they feel that peace and the presence that gives peace to people. These people say this, and they come in. We had a young man that came in. He is a trauma nurse, and he comes in after his shift, and he's all wired because of all the trauma that comes, especially when we've been getting Ukrainian soldiers. But he would come in and he would say, I just love this place. It's so peaceful. I need this peace time. I need this time. He's a new believer. He was converted by a Lutheran man, but so he's a new believer about God. But he comes in and talks about his struggle with trying to be a believer in Germany. And Larry has talked to him several times. And he came in one day with, he's also an artist. He came in with a painting of a rough seas with a boat. And he said, I found this story in Matthew and I wanted to paint it. So he painted the sea and the spray of the water goes up to a cross. And he said, I want to give this to you. I want to thank you for helping me find peace in God's word. And so he gave it to us and we put it up in our library. So people come there just to relax and to get that peace that they need, and we can talk with them about it. Reading, everyone likes to read. Like I said, they love reading, and you'll see them with books on the S-Bahn.
You'll see them with books everywhere reading.
Yeah, and they always come in. We put a book in the library windows to catch attention, one in German and one in English. And we had a lady that came in and said, oh, can I read this book in the window? And it was, what was that one?
Ravi Zachariah. I don't remember. No.
What was it? I can't think of the name of it now. But Purpose-Driven Life was in there. I can't remember the name of it. But I said, sure, you can come in. You can come in and read that. You're not a member. Would you like to become one? She said, well, no, I would just like to talk. And just like to read. I said, okay, would you like any coffee? Got her coffee. And she sat and read that. Didn't want to talk. That's okay. Because the book did the talking. So this was a good book. I wish I could remember to tell you what it was. All the time.
Oh,
all the time.
That's a whole nother story.
Street people that are homeless. Street people that are not all there. Street people that are children. That just come in off the street.
We are less
Workers
than,
come in to use the bathroom because bathrooms aren't free.
We are less than
But ours is.
about a kilometer, which is quarter mile, half mile from the largest prostitution section in all of Europe. And so we deal with that a lot too.
And quiet. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's too quiet. And we're like, where's all the people today? But usually God knows when we need that kind of day because we have a lot of work to do, or we just have to settle down from yesterday's conversation or get better knowledge on it. But quiet is always in a library, and people come in to study. We have 5 study places in the library, and they come in just to sit at a table and study. And but sometimes it gets noisy. But we have doors we can close to the littler rooms, and we can minister to people who want to be quiet. We can minister to people who don't want to be quiet. Okay. Coffee is our draw. Because they love coffee, this brings them in. Do we get our little menu sitting outside, and I put the basic non-sweet coffee ideas like the Milchkaffee and the latte macchiatos and all that outside, but I also have this little sweet section.
We call it the American section.
Like a caramel drink, or I don't know,
lavender latte.
Lavender latte. All these different sweet drinks, because the Germans like the non-sweet drinks, but the Turkish, Lebanese, just different younger kids love the sweet drinks. So I have to have both. So they come in and they ask for that. And then they always ask, well, what is this place? That's our in to say, well, it's a small Christian library. Christian? And I had a man who was a Buddhist came in and said, Christian? And I said, yeah, it's a Christian library. All the books are Christian-based. And he goes, well, I'm Buddhist. And I said, oh, okay, well, welcome to Connections. And he said, well, Buddhism, Christianity, same thing. And I went, not exactly. No. And so we had some conversations that one week with 3 different Buddhists. But this one, unfortunately, didn't like my answer that, no, not exactly. And he walked out. So I prayed. And I said, Lord, someone else has got to handle him down the road because I tried.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
No, we haven't done the words under coffee yet.
Yeah. I did that last time. Okay. So more coffee, always. They always want more, and they cannot believe that you don't have to pay. If our regulars, we sometimes fill it up again, and they think they have to pay, but they don't. Not if we if we know them well and we fill it up. But no coffee ever gets refilled for free, except, well, usually they only buy one, but the ones who know us know that we'll refill. Cup, yep, we have different size cups, so they can choose whatever size they want. Break, it's a coffee break for a lot of people. Sometimes people who are waiting to get into the dentist will come in and just take a break while they're waiting, or waiting for the numbness to wear off so that they can order a coffee. The smell permeates the place. When I mix in the flavors with the milk and foam
It fills the whole
smells
room.
good. But then he messes it up because he goes out into a Turkish market or Turkish kebab place and ends up bringing in his food, and the whole place smells like a Turkish kebab place.
Of course.
And I'm like, take it to the kitchen. I need that. Okay. But anyway, that's what happens. This is a normal everyday occurrence, or tacos, and people come in like, oh, do you sell food here? I'm like, no, that's a whole different license. We don't sell food, but my husband is eating food. Sorry about that. Oh well. Group, we get all kinds of groups. We have groups that meet there all the time. We have...
And they rent. By the way, that's a really important thing for us, is
yeah,
that
you should fill them in.
we rent. Real estate is expensive. So it's really hard for us to pay our own rent and the library's rent. So we allow ministries, groups, to rent Connections for their ministries. So we provide them a space and they pay us, and that really helps to reduce our costs. We're trying to get down below 50%. We're not quite there yet. We're at 50% on us and 50% on the locals.
And one of our favorite groups is an outreach to the prostitutes there.
Right.
They do night outreach. They go around to the brothels. They give gifts to the women. They have another coffee shop down by the biggest area that they work, and they take them in and talk with them and tell them that God made them special, good people, and that they are there if they want to talk. Anyway, that's one of our really good groups to have. And all kinds of groups. Then conversation, we already talked about that. We had a man who has been coming in for 9 years. His name is Jurgen. I think I probably mentioned him before. And he comes in.
We did. We talked about him last year.
Yeah, he comes in all the time wanting to know more. And he came in just last year with a Bible. Asking for a Bible. I went,
Couldn't believe it.
he goes, do you have a Bible? And I went, Jurgen, you're asking me for a Bible? What do you want a Bible for? You don't even believe in God. He goes, well, I just want to read something. I said, but what does it matter? You don't believe in God's word. What does it matter to you? Well, because I've been hearing these people talking about the end of the world. And they said something about, and he said Revelation. I said, oh, okay, sit down. I'll get a book. And I got the Bible that was English and German. And I said, this is a very difficult book to get into. But what do you want to know? And he said, well, I want to know if these things are really happening out there. And I said, why do you care? Why do you care? You don't even care. You're not going to be here anymore after you die anyway, right? You're just going to be, he goes, yeah. I said, well, then why do you care? He goes, I just want to see what they're saying. I said, okay, we'll go through that. I said, but let me tell you this. It's a very picturesque. It's a book of a lot of symbolism. And I said, but here's the main thing. Jesus is going to come again. He's going to come again. And the main issue here is he wants you to be ready. He wants people to be ready for his return. He goes, well, I don't believe in God. I don't
But
believe
he
in him
believes in
returning.
you.
And I said, well, yeah, he believes in you. And guess what? Just because you believe it's not so doesn't mean it isn't so. So he was interested, and he sat and listened for a while. And then he always comes back for more. Let's see what we got here.
Warm and relax.
Warm. We've had a man come in off the street, very, very cold, homeless man. I gave him some coffee for free. We have a couple that's not quite right. They're a little challenged, and they come in if cold. So I give them tea for free and sit down, and they can come in anytime they want that. But we have to be careful because some of them can scare away the people. People won't come in if they're in there, so we have to be very careful with that, and we have to be careful what they say to us because sometimes they're not nice, and we have to issue them coffee to go and help them out the door. But we try.
10 minutes.
Okay, relaxing. Like I said, it's gemütlich. It's relaxing. Yeah. So That's a place for everyone to relax, including Larry, when he doesn't have anything to do, sleeping on a couch snoring. No, just kidding. All right.
It doesn't happen very often, just so you know.
Okay, more is our purpose. Why are we there? My brother once asked me, what are you doing over there? Can't you just do that here? I said, sure, I could do it here. But we had the opportunity to go there. And obviously they need it. So we're there because the opportunity arose. And what did, we always ask, Paul was talking about, make the most of every opportunity. If you have the opportunity to go, Andrea, then you go and you make the most of your opportunity while you're there. That's what we do. So abundant, more, abundant love. And I'm going to get both of those at one. We have to show an abundance of love to every person that comes in. The gay couple that came in on their honeymoon, we show that we love them. We don't have to agree with them to love them. Jesus didn't agree with people. He sat down with sinners and ate with them. He didn't agree with them, but he loved them. So we love them. And hopefully it opens up conversation. Then we have abundant of, okay, what are we at? Time.
Abundant time.
We don't always
There's
have
never
abundance
abundant
of time. Because there's always something that happens at the last minute. And we're like, oh, we're going to close here pretty soon. But just like the girl that came in from Israel a few years back and was crying because she got kicked out of her apartment and had no place to go. And I said, well, Larry's in the States, so why don't you come home with me? And I just took her home. I didn't know her from Adam, but I just trusted that God would help me with this. And she came home with me for 11 days. She didn't know what the New Testament was. I got to explain that. We got very close as friends, and now I talk with her all the time in Israel and what's going on over there. You just don't know. Time sometimes goes past our opening time with our anorexic girl, calls on the phone, our Romanian girl who's having all kinds of mental issues, all the time on the phone. So you have to have time, and it doesn't end. But you're a minister. Does it end? No. And you always got to be there. It's hard, but you always got to be there.
More people?
More people. We're always wanting more people. Sometimes it's too slow, and we're like, where are the people? But, sometimes God knows what's best. Sometimes he brings in so many, like the entire film crew for a movie they were shooting, asking Larry if they could use our big room for their dinners, and they'd cater that in. And then the actress would come in, too, and they would come talk with us, and we'd give them lavender lattes to go for the whole crew. And then we would have just different people. That Philharmonic Orchestra came in, it lined up. I have one machine that does one cup at a time. And I'm sitting here trying to get the Philharmonic their coffees. So, sometimes you have way too many people. Other times you have barely any. Extra. We get extra things there sometimes. Sometimes people bring clothing and they go, can you use this? I'm like, what are you going to do with these extra clothes? Well, we know the brothels might use them. One girl that came in and worked with us from the brothel who got out of the
sex
her
industry.
night shift came in and needed clothes because she wanted to work with us. So
But she
worked-
didn't dress appropriately.
Right. So I brought her extra clothes. And we give them to refugees. More coffee. Yeah, they always come in for coffee. That's been self-explanatory. Sleep. More sleep. We all need more sleep, people. Don't we? Oh, my goodness. Especially when you've got those things that come into your brain all day and all night and you can't get them out and you need sleep. And sometimes we have had to crash at home. And I said, Larry, I can't come in today. I got a migraine. I got to sleep. That's me. And we have somebody else that fills in. Or he sleeps on the couch. Chicken. We love chicken. That's a neat one because chickens wake you all up. Farmers and everybody wakes up with chickens. And we have nights where we cook different things. One time he made jerk chicken. So we decided to have a Jamaican night. And then whoever would happen to be there got to eat it. So there's different times.
Because
we'll
I'm a
have
good
food.
cook.
We'll have food nights there. And certain people, we had a Ukrainian night where everybody made Ukrainian food. All the Ukrainians came together and we had a Ukrainian night. So that was fun. So, chicken is a part of our ministry, yes. And of course, Jesus. Because why do we even care? I asked Jürgen that. I said, Jürgen, why do you think we're here? He said, because you want people to know what you know. I said, absolutely. What do I know? He goes, well, I said, what does that mean? He goes, well, you want to love people? I said, yeah. He goes, well, you want to, you care for people? I said, yeah. He said, well, yeah, that's basic. I said, that's it. But you know what? Who makes me that way? Who makes me want to love and care? I said, it's Jesus, the Son of God. He makes me, it's the love of Christ we want to show to people. And he was like, well, I joined a group, and my group believes in peace and love, and what's the other one? Two more. Joy and something else. I said, wow, that sounds like Jesus, those words. And he goes, I like him. I said, you really would, Jürgen, and I'm going to pray for you that you'll get to know him like I do. And he just rolled his eyes.
9 years. He started out as an atheist, and we had a violent argument with Terry.
Well, it
and
wasn't violent.
Well, I like to say it that way. He stormed out the door, but he's been coming back for 9 years, and now he calls himself an agnostic, and now he calls himself a searcher.
Yeah, and now
So keep praying for Jürgen, because one day we're going to tell you guys in a newsletter, guess who just became a believer?
And he's dabbling in Buddhism right now, so that's his big thing. So, but before we left, he gave us a hug, and he had tears in his eyes. And I said, are you going to miss us, Jürgen? He goes, yeah. I said, well, you know what? I'm going to be praying for you. And he always laughs when I say that, because I say it every time he leaves. Jürgen, I'm praying for you. And you're going to know him one day. I just know it, because you're searching for him. And he goes, I'm not. I said, okay, you're not. But anyway, I think he is. So that is our purpose. So I'm hoping that you can understand our field better, our tool that we use when we can, our draw, which is coffee, and the fact that our more is our purpose in Berlin. And you can do that here. These things can happen in your own backyard, can happen in your own little, out there on the farm with people, over a farmer's breakfast. It can happen, these little conversations. All you have to do, this is the main key, listen, hear them, hear where they are, know where they're at, and then ask God, key, very key, ask God to give you the words to say that will help in that moment and bring them to the next level. And make them thirsty, like my father-in-law says. You always hear, you can take the horse to water, but you can't make him drink. But my father-in-law says, we have to make that horse thirsty. That's what this whole conversation does. So if you make them thirsty, they want to know more. If you love them, they come back, no matter who they are. The Muslims, the gay, the transgender, the everybody, the children, the older people, the Alzheimer's patient, the one who just wants to play the piano and be heard, anything like that. So you can do the same thing here. So I want to encourage you to do that. And God bless you, and thank you for our game.
Yeah, pretty good game, huh? She's kindergarten teachers. They're so creative. I did want to say one thing about, like I said, we've had so many people say things. And the Moore one got the funniest reaction we've ever had. We were in Oregon, and some teenager.
No, it wasn't a teenager.
Wasn't it a teenager? It was an older person? Yeah, you're right. It was an older person, because the teenagers were confused.
Idea.
But anyway, so I said, okay, all these words, and this guy shouts out, Mary Tyler.
Yeah, so Larry looks at me when that word came up, Mary Tyler Moore. And so all I could do was, who can turn the world on with a smile? Explain that.
And then everybody under 30 had no idea what we were talking about.
Yeah, and
But-
who can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile. Well,
Okay, don't sing the whole song,
I
honey.
know, but that's what we do. We turn on with a smile, and then we try to make it worth their while. So Mary Tyler Moore worked on that one.
It's a blessing, and we have good days, we have bad days. But God is faithful, and we want you to know your faithful encouragement, love, and support and prayers have been an amazing blessing to us. And we are going to share a couple of things in the main session. I feel like I'm at a convention because we were at a convention. In the worship time.
This would be a convention in Germany. Our churches are very tiny.
Yes. Yeah, this is basically all the Christians in all of Berlin. But anyway, we just want to thank you for that. And we hope that this gives you a better picture of what we do and who we are. We are involved in a church. Actually, we're involved. I preach at 3 different churches, and Terry teaches children. And so we are heavily involved in the local church. But this is our day-to-day work, and this is what we do. And we hope that this has helped you see a little bit about who we are and what we do. And we just want to thank you. We love you.
Terry and Larry are going to have a opportunity, a little introduction time in the main session. Morning worship. We've got about 10 minutes, and you may keep your seat or do what you need to do in that length of time, and we'll be beginning worship service. Yep.
Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions? Yes. I was just trying to respect everybody's time. What?
Have you ever had the desire to go someplace else besides where you were?
Oh, sometimes we desire to go other places. We go on vacation to other places in Europe so we can get away. Yes. How do we end up? Oh, well, I was stationed in Germany with the Army many years ago, and then our daughter wanted to take a missions trip as part of her high school purpose, and so she wanted to go with Germany because our heritage is German. So she set the idea. We went to Berlin and met this ministry, didn't know about them, and then they called us and asked us to come back and be directors. So our daughter's to blame. Any other questions?
So, Lutheranism started in Germany.
Yes, Martin Luther, right?
I'm assuming they're proud of that.
Oh, they're very proud of Martin Luther. Even the Catholics are proud of Martin Luther. Not really, but so Martin Luther, where he did his thesis, where he posted his story, is about an hour south of us. We take people there all the time, and Reformation Day is a big deal in Europe. October 31st. They don't even know what it is. Well, you know the funny thing about Christmas, Germans do Christmas better than any other culture. They're shut down for 24th, 25th, and 26th. Nothing is open. And they love Christmas. They know who Jesus is. They believe that Jesus is a real person. They just don't think he's relevant to their daily lives.